Kentucky guard Tyrese Maxey is one of the most skilled offensive players in the 2020 NBA draft. His creativity and acrobatic finishing ability around the rim, coupled with his pro-ready in-between game, gives him a real case to one day develop into a primary scorer at the next level. However, as a freshman, Maxey shot just 42% from the field and a lackluster 29% from three, albeit on an encouraging 113 attempts from deep. A passable and engaged on and off ball defender, Maxey's biggest swing skill is undeniably his outside shooting, which is imperative for undersized shot creating guards in the NBA. Are Maxey's shooting indicators positive enough that it's reasonable to project an exponential increase in Maxey's 3-point percentage at the next level? Let's dive deeper. Welcome into another edition of the Prospect Podcast. I'm Ethan Piotta, and today I'll be breaking down the shot mechanics and release of Kentucky guard Tyrese Maxey. Having an above average floater game, good 3-point attempt volume, and an 83% free throw percentage, Maxey projects well on paper as a guy who could potentially increase his 3-point percentage in the NBA. Let's take a deeper look at Maxey's shot release and tendencies and diagnose some changes he could make to become more efficient from deep. Let's start with the positives. Maxey is a tremendous mover off the ball. He rubs shoulders off screens and is precise and quick in his changes of direction and pace, getting to spots on the floor with ease. This bodes well for great off-catch shooters and should allow him to create adequate separation from defenders at the pro level. His actual shooting mechanics off the catch aren't nearly as desirable. Maxey ranked in just the 20th percentile in his catch and shoot attempts this season and ranked in the 4th percentile while guarded. There are some positives within Maxey's mechanics off the catch though. His posture and balance tend to be good, and he tends to more often than not land in the same spot from which he took off. He does an exceptional job of setting his feet and squaring up towards the basket with his right foot slightly in front of his left. Maxey does have a slight inward bend in his knees at times and will fade and kick out his leg when shooting from deep or when shooting contested shots. But the problem is mainly in his upper body and arms. You see here, Maxey's release point is right in front of his face. He'll extend his arms toward the rim, altering the trajectory of his shot and causing this attempt to come up short. He has a bit of a dip, which is wasted movement word to Klay Thompson, but that's not a major concern for him at this point. He has a knack for flaring his right elbow as well, but the most important fix involves the release point of his shot. Here's a few great examples of Maxey when he raises his release point, gaining trajectory and getting more arc and guidance on the ball in general. This attempt from the corner against Louisville is probably his most aesthetically pleasing, mechanically based jumper all season long. He sets his feet and has perfect balance, jumping straight up and down on his shot. The most important part of this is how much noticeably higher his release point is, with his arms extended more upwards than outwards. Getting this arc is key for Maxey, and here's why. His floater was his most lethal scoring weapon this season by far, and look at the height in his release point. If he can emulate something similar in his jump shot release, his already above average touch and lower body mechanics could really make a difference. Again, the release point, especially off the catch, is probably the most important fix Maxey can make on his jumper. Most of his misses this year were normally long or short, rarely right, left, or directionally based. I buy this as an identifiable and easy fix for Maxey, and buy his eventual improvement as an off-catch shooter as well. I believe you can expect to see exponential rises in his 3-point percentage with a higher release point and more overall arc on his jumper. In a case common amongst young guards, Maxey's off-the-dribble shooting mechanics look slightly more consistent and fluid than they do off the catch. However, in jump shots off the dribble in the half court, Maxey's still just ranked in the 53rd percentile, good for .776 points per possession. His posture and balance is nearly 100% perfect, with his feet always coming set and shoulder width apart, and he tends to, like off the catch, for the most part land in the same spot that he took off from, though there are some cases like off the catch when he adds a bit of a leg kick at the end of his shot, mostly doing so when he's contested. Let's run some of these clips back and see where Maxey goes right and where he goes wrong. Here against Auburn, this is a textbook example of Tyrese Maxey's exceptional balance. Off the step back, Maxey gathers himself and squares his feet towards the rim. From a distance angle, it appears as if his release point is higher than usual as well, which is awesome to see. This kind of shot creation is terrific in general, and adding consistency to it could take Maxey's offensive ability to the next level. On the opposite end of the spectrum against LSU, we see Maxey again revert to his old style mechanics off the one dribble pull-up. It's nice to see his body square and him using his legs, but his posture is hunched over, both elbows are flared, and his release point is constant with what we've seen for most of the season, low and in front of his face, ending in a line drive kind of attempt. Maxey, on these last 2 attempts, doesn't maintain any sort of balance and kicks his legs out when he doesn't necessarily need to. This calls for concern over Maxey's contested shot-making ability. However, we see the opposite again with Maxey demonstrating textbook mechanics, elevation, and a strong release point on the last 2 clips, both ending in makes. This kind of shot-making ability that he demonstrated often is priceless and sought after at the pro level. I personally believe an NBA team can never have enough shot creators. All in all, I'm at the stage now here after watching the majority of his games this season and his strong development curve from lower levels to where I'm fully buying Tyrese Maxey as a reputable and passable 3-point shooter at the next level. All the indicators are positive regarding his 83% free throw percentage, tremendous floater touch from various ranges, and a large sample size of 113 attempts. Developing this part of his game could seriously take Maxey's game to new heights. When you talk about complete players in the 2020 NBA draft, there aren't many, and swing skills reign supreme on many prospects' outlooks. If Tyrese Maxey is able to overcome his 3-point shooting deficiencies, he could turn out to be one of the best players from this class when it's all said and done. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing to me, commenting, sharing this video, whatever. It helps me out a lot. It's greatly appreciated. Follow me on Twitter at EthanPio to follow the Prospect Podcast at ProspectPod. I'll leave both of those links in the description, and I'll catch you guys next time.